Hi, how are you doing? So we are in the kitchen. We are going to be making mandazis, mahamri. It's not a crazy recipe, it's very easy. I believe anyone and everyone can do it. And one of the tricks, one of the things you want to use anytime you are deep frying stuff, we are so used to using vegetable oil because that's the oil we were so used to using. Sunflower oil is really good for deep frying stuff because it has a high burning rate. So even when it gets really hot, it's not going to burn your stuff. But you don't want the oil to be too hot. And also the other thing I like about sunflower is it doesn't like have an aftertaste, which is good. And then we're just going to use kawaida all-purpose flour. Let me just get my stuff and show you just literally, it's like what, 3-4 ingredients that you need. Trust me, this stuff is stuff you probably already have in the house. If you don't have sunflower oil, you can just use vegetable oil for the first time before you get sunflower oil or whatever oil you prefer to use when you are deep frying. I am making mine dairy free. I always make them dairy free. Always sift my unga when I'm baking. The only time I don't sift unga is when I'm making chapos, but when I'm doing anything else, because I'm using a lot less unga, I like to sift my unga. All the ingredients that you are going to need for this are, you're going to need yeast. You want dry active yeast. I prefer using yeast over baking powder. You are going to need cardamom, all-purpose flour, and some sugar. And then for this one we are using water. I am using 1 3/4 cups of water. It's just slightly under 400 ml. If you're using coconut milk, or coconut milk is a lot denser than water. Milk is very similar to water. Yogurt is a lot more denser than even the coconut milk. So just know that if you're using like yogurt, you might have to add a bit more for a lighter texture. But the perfect one, for me the perfect unga is, the perfect dough comes from 1 3/4 cups of coconut milk. With water, I often have to add a bit more unga when I'm kneading compared to water, but compared to coconut milk. But yeah, so you might have to use a bit less unga if you're using coconut milk. No, if you're using yogurt or maziwa mala. I prefer doing this with coconut milk or straight up water. How I measure my unga is I use, even when I'm baking, when I say 1 cup of unga, I mean you take unga with your spoon. This is a very neat trick. Instead of just doing this where you scoop, sometimes there's air huko ndani that doesn't get filled and you end up having less unga. So you use a spoon to fill the unga into your measuring cup. These measuring cups are so cute, and I know someone's going to ask. The sad news is that I got these measuring cups from Nakumat. That's very sad because now they are no longer in operation, so you can't get them. I don't know where else you'd be able to find these exact ones. And then I now level it with this part of the spoon. So just bring it back and then just pour out the rest of it. This jar is not the best for this because of the mouth. And then after that, just put that in the container and just sift it in the kichungi. And then this helps with, I noticed that it makes your unga lighter, which is so weird. Like when you start mixing stuff, the unga is so much lighter compared to how it is when you just scoop and add. Okay, so I have my unga ready to go over here. Thank you. I have my unga ready to go. So first thing I'm going to do is mix all the dry ingredients, and then now we're going to add the wet ingredients onto this. So I'm going to start, it doesn't matter, like there's no formula as to which one should go first or which one should go second. You never want to put too much cardamom in your stuff. It can be very overpowering. Those were 4, 5, and 6. So I'm going to mix this in together. You can do it by hand, you don't have to use anything. If you want to add, like say lemon or orange, Personally, I like making lemon mandazis a lot. You're going to grate the lemon zest and you're going to add it into this stage. Anything else you want to add, as long as it's not a liquid, you're going to add it to this stage. If you have any liquids, they are going to go into the next stage, which is where we are headed now. So after I do that, I just create a well with my hands, my fingers, and I just do that. And then I'm going to add my water. So I've told you this already makes a very light dough. So I'm not going to use all of it in one go. I'm going to I'll put most of it and then I'll bakisha kidogo, like 100 ml. Just shy, because I want to be sure. Yeah, I've left 100 ml. I want to see if that's going to affect, you know, if I'll need to use more unga or just now I'll end up using just this. Then you're going to do 2 tablespoons of oil, just like that. You can use vegetable oil. I'm still using sunflower oil. And it's time to now just mix this in. My hands, my fingers, yeah, just like that. And the water was not warm, it's just cold from the tap water. And then just mix that in. Once your stuff is like, you have everything like this, it's time to now transfer it to a surface and knead it until it's nice and smooth. Now we transfer it down here. 10 minutes is always a good enough time for kneading, because then by then everything is completely incorporated. If you don't know how to knead, the trick is always simple, where you just pick from down here and fold over, and then you press as you fold over and push, then turn it around and do the same. So this is what I meant when I said the dough is a lot lighter, so you're going to add a bit of unga. But if you use coconut milk, you don't end up needing to add a lot of unga on this stage. Most of that unga is enough to do everything. You just dust the surface and you're good to go. So dust and then just knead. And you always use the palm of your hands, not your fingers. I think now we're fine. Okay, so now that my unga is ready, I'm going to do the next step, which is I usually just cut this in half. I eyeball it. I don't have like a tea. Nini, I just do this. That's how I cut that in what I consider to be a half. So this is 1/2 and this is the other half. Then what I do is I roll it out kidogo. My surface area, this inside part is a lot stickier than the outside. Just a bit of unga to just roll it. And then I cut this into 3 almost same sized pieces, and then now I roll this into a ball, just like this. And then I'll just place that there. Do the same here, just roll it into a ball. The next step after you've done this is just immediately. You're not waiting or anything at this point. So I just take a bit of unga and I take a piece. I dust the surface, dust the top, and then just roll this out using the same tricks we use for chapo to just, you know, do a circle. So you don't want to roll it with too much pressure, just kidogo, lightly, and you don't want it to be too thin. You're not trying to roll it like a chapo. You want it to be still thick. And then now after you roll it, I feel like we have like 1 more, okay, maybe 2 more, because every time you pick it, it kind of shrinks back. So that's a good size for me. The thickness is not crazy. And then now I cut this into 4 pieces. So now these are the pieces that I'm going to make mandazis out of. So we're going to just place them. We'll place them like on the other side on our cloth, and then we cover them. Let me just show you.
Okay, alright.
Now that I've finished with this, I'm going to cover them for 30 minutes and give the yeast enough time to do its thing and to double in size, or like just to rise a bit. But I usually just give it a good 30 minutes and I'm good. If you have like a warm surface, even better, because then the activation happens a lot faster. But for me, after 30 minutes, I'm always good to go. So just cover it with a cloth. Just like that, and then we are just gonna read it out. Okay, so it's been about let's say 40 minutes, about 35 to 40 minutes, and let me just, my oil has been heating for like the last 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes I think, and I just want to confirm that it's hot enough, and that's good. So they did like, let me just show you, that's what they look like. They're not doubled in size or whatever, but they start puffing up pole pole, which for me it's not a big deal. I don't need them to double up or anything, but they have sort of increased in size in a way. You never want your oil to be too hot. If it's too hot, it's going to burn before they cook, and you never want that. That's not what you want. You want it to cook evenly without any stress. So I always do a test, like a test one. So that was my test. You don't want to do a lot of them in one go, so I usually just do at most 2. So just let it sip in. Once you put it in, this is a trick I learned from my mom. When you push it in under, and then after it's puffed up, you're good to go. You can do, the other option is like throwing the hot oil on the other side, but with this I can't pick any oil because of the design of my thingy. So the easiest way is to just press it lightly and lift. Don't do it, you just try to dip it in the oil to make sure that the top side gets covered by the oil as well. So now we flip it. So you cook until they are like a nice golden brown. I think it's usually just brown. I don't know who told us it's golden brown, but you know. So this one, it's because of the way it puffed up, it's refusing to just sit on that one side. So that one's ready, and just remove it. So you can do it one at a time if you don't trust yourself. Don't do too many in one go. If you do too many in one go, what happens is for every piece you add onto the oil, your oil's temperature goes down. That's how, like when you're deep frying stuff. So the more stuff you put, the temperature of the oil goes down. So I usually do 2. So this is how I do it. I'll put the first one, press that. It takes like 2 to 3 times, you're good. And then now that that's ready, I do the second one. As one side is cooking, do the same, like that. That one's good. So now when I flip this, like that, this one's also like now cooking on this side. Because you can also just flip multiple times. So sometimes when it does this, it's because there's a bit of a break or a hole in the thingy. So then just take it out. Flip. The reason I don't like my thingies to be too thick as much as I don't like them to be too thin is I don't like mandazis that have that nyama thingy on the inside. So I prefer when I bite into it and it's all space. So we'll just continue to do this. Last one. This is the final one. So here are our andawas. Look at that. Look at that. Look at how pretty they are. So let me show you what I like is, this is hot, but I like ndawas that are hollow on the inside because I don't like the hot. I like mandazis, mahamris that are like this instead of the ones that have all the nyama inside. If you like the ones that have nyama, just make your ninis slightly thicker and then let them rise a lot longer. That way they double, you let them sit a lot longer so that they can double in size before you start frying them in the oil. Yeah, because they're still hot.
It's so hot.
Yeah. I'm gonna try gnocchi. Oh, I thought this was gnocchi tambi.
It's tasty.
Thank you for your thumbs up. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how I make. Yeah, no one saw that. It's okay. Ziggy. I know, he was trying to get my attention. Ziggy, come here. Do you want some? Ziggy. So, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you're going to try this at home. It's a very simple process. I didn't want to share anything complicated. And then also, like, now if you want to flavor, you know how to add flavor onto this. But even on their own, they are dope, dopey dope. Thank you for watching this video. We'll see you in the next one. That is all we got today. Bye bye. Bye bye.